we missed our good friend Rudy put out a video. Where is it? May 20th. Like, this is the one we looked at kind of yesterday. Hold on, let me bring this up. This is the one we were talking about yesterday. Biden wants to give another billion to a terrorist state, meaning helping rebuild the Palestinians and shore up the Palestinian Authority, as opposed to just giving Hamas the win after this and allowing them to completely take over any potential future because they are against a two-state solution, whereas the Palestinian Authority is not, and there's a chance to negotiate one in the future. But if you let them die on the vine and allow the, there's a lot to it. But the idea is that Giuliani basically, I think, believes that we have to strafe bomb, just let the Israelis and even help them strafe bomb the Palestinian areas of Gaza and just teach them a lesson finally.
Hello, this is Rudy Giuliani, and I'm back with another episode of Rudy's Common Sense.
Excuse me, it's Rudy Giuliani's Common Sense. There is no... All right.
Today we are going to look at the Israeli-Hamas conflict.
Oh, it's not Palestinians, so they're only in conflict with Hamas. Might be a smart move in the languaging. Let's hear you.
From a deeper point of view.
Are we talking glory hole deep? Or?
One maybe you haven't heard before.
No, probably
and one
not.
That is at the core of what is really going on.
All right, very exciting. And you know what's really going on there because you're in your office in New York.
Because the only way you can solve
Thank you,
the
Cassie.
problem of this magnitude is to truly understand it.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. Well, this helps, guys. Apparently, you and I don't understand that this is a classic fight between Abrahamic religions, and there's a lot going on here. You and I don't understand that there's been a lot of back and forth between these countries and peoples over a long period of time, and apparently we've gotten it all wrong up to this point, and luckily, Rudy is going to clean this up for us.
And not to be basically swinging at windmills that are just substitutes for the real problem.
No. What?
The Palestinian-Israeli war conflict, or better described as the Israeli-Hamas conflict, appears to have begun pretty simply, and all the narratives, all the chronologies, on May 8th, 2021.
I'm sorry, what? The battle between Hamas and Israel started in 2021.
And it seems it is a dispute between Hamas, Palestinian Authority on the one hand, and Israel on the other.
It seems to be, but it's not. Guys, understand, we've gotten this all wrong. Yes, he wiped away his face makeup again, so he's got this kind of blank area in the orange. But notice he never rubs the top of his head, so the orange spot up there always stays.
It's viewed just on the surface of what we see.
Yeah.
And what is presented to us, as it is by the Biden administration, it seems, and the Democrat American media.
The Democrat American media. Okay, they're telling us the wrong thing. We don't know what's going on.
And the world media, which is...
The world media, yes. I usually watch world media. There's a lot. They have so many channels, it makes my television explode.
Left of left, and instinctively anti-Israel, anti-United States, anti-Western civilization. Whatever the outcome.
Anti-Israel, anti-United States, anti-Western civilization. And oh, hello? Is that Murphy? Or did the wind open my door? Hold on one second. I think I might have a... Okay, just a ghost. That's fun. My cat can open doors, so I thought he'd open it.
The real party in interest here is going to win. It's either going to win big or it's going to win.
Well, that's good. I mean, those are your two choices. You got two choices. You can win or you can win big. Bro, what you going to choose? Come on, push it.
So it's important to go further than the superficial, rather inept Biden administration is capable of going, and their press acolytes.
Right.
What I'm about to describe and explain to you almost cannot be accepted by the Biden administration
Okay.
because it would contradict and prove the fallacy of at least
Right.
their last 10 or 15 years of foreign policy
Yeah.
with regard to Iran.
Yeah, I think the last 15 years of the Biden administration's foreign policy is lacking 14 years and 9 months. But okay.
To Iran, originally begging them for the 2015 nuclear treaty, which resulted in their giving billions to Iran, and with no explanation of what that money was used for.
Yeah, it's their money. We were paying them interest on it. So we decided to give it to them. It's all spent already. It's gone.
The media, owned and operated by the Democratic Party, covers up for anything Democrats want to do, and somehow they found a rationalization for the billions that were given to the regime of terror, the regime that sponsors terrorism all throughout the world. If it sponsors terrorism all throughout the world, then is it a simple conclusion that a lot of that billions and billions and billions went to terrorists? So in essence, is it hard to come to the conclusion that Obama sponsored terrorism? Now we're going to see the results of that Obama investment in the regime of terror.
Sure.
This war is a proxy war. This is a war in which Hamas and the Palestinians are standing in for Iran.
Right.
So that they can do damage to Israel as much as possible. But more importantly, they can show, display, illustrate the vulnerabilities of the state of Israel to a sophisticated attack, much more sophisticated attack than Palestinian Authority would have been capable of without the arms and, more importantly, the training of the Iranians in the use of these much more sophisticated, longer range.
Guys, listen, we're being taught.
Palestine never
Guys, stop laughing. This is serious. He's going to let us know what we don't know.
Had before, or never had the money to buy.
Sure.
You know, it reminds me of the scene in Godfather.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of really shitty edits. If I may. I wish this thing had a frame jump on Rumble, but it doesn't specifically.
More importantly, the training of the Iranians in the use of these much more sophisticated, longer range missiles that Palestine never had before, or never had the money to buy.
Sure, not now.
You know, it reminds me of the scene in Godfather 1 when Don Corleone is leaving the commission meeting with his lawyer Hagen, and they're sitting in the back of the car.
It's a great story. Make sure you rub your nose and put snot on your paper while you're telling us the story. It just brings us into the moment.
Kind of a dark scene, and we'll play a little of it for you.
What? Why?
A little hard to see, but
I mean, you can see it. You can. I own it.
Here's what he says to his lawyer, who just sees, like Biden does on the surface, that this was a war between the Tartaglia family and the Corleone family. And that's what Hagen says.
Sure.
And the wise old Don,
the head of the murderous crime family,
nearing the end, says to his consigliere, quote, Tartaglia is a pimp. He never could have outfought Santino. But I did.
So you're reading this quote off the paper?
No. Until this very day, it was Barzini all along.
Yeah, guys, you got that? You got that. So the Tortellini family, the head of the Tortellini family, says to the Tatiana family, he says,
drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
And the Barbarino family says,
you using the whole fist, Doc?
And then in response, he's like, there's this moment of illumination where he says,
Moon River.
You know what I mean? And I feel like we've all, like, it's a good analogy. It fits the moment. I feel like I've learned so much Oh, awesome. Thank you, Tracy, for becoming an annual subscriber on Patreon. Thank you. That cleared 701. I think we have, that's amazing. Bless you. Thank you.
I'll just listen to it.
Yeah. I think it'll be, I don't need to listen to it. Do you guys need to listen to it? I mean, it must be, he probably did it total justice. You know what I mean? I would much rather Rudy's take on what's said and done.
Marlon Brando does it better.
Okay, so this is a scene from The Godfat. Okay.
When I meet with the Tatalia people, should I insist that all these drug middlemen have clean records?
Mention it.
See, it's exactly like Rudy did it.
Don't insist. Bazzini's a man who'll know that without being told.
Mm-hmm.
You mean Tatalia?
Tatalia's a pimp. He never could have outfought Santino.
Mm-mm.
But I didn't know until this day that it was Bazzini all along.
Now, if you think I'm making too much of this,
You are making too much of this.
there's a September 8th, 2013.
Yes, but no. Apparently, Rudy is Marlon Brando, and the entire Biden administration is James Caan's hat. I don't quite know. All
Article
right.
by Ben Hunt in Ipsilon Theory, which actually uses this
His buddy Mike wasn't available.
scene as a very intricate example of internal emerging markets analysis and how you can make mistakes by not realizing who's actually behind the deal. And you've got to spend time trying to discover who's
Right.
behind the deal.
You
Of
do.
course, we have spent no time
Who's behind the deal? No.
exploring who's behind this deal. Of course, we don't want to know because Biden and the lefties want to make some kind of an agreement again with the regime of terror. They want to load him down with money, and they want to give him a 10-year path to being a nuclear power because they're, I guess, such a responsible country. So just substitute Hamas for Tatalia and the Islamic
Someone write
Republic
this
of
down.
Iran for Barzini,
Okay, somebody's writing this down, right?
and it would read something like this.
Oh, great. He's going to do the scene again, guys, but using, please do an Iranian voice.
This would be the analysis that the president really needs from somebody who understood foreign policy, which he doesn't have around.
If only he was in the office going, this is just like The Godfather, in the middle of a bunch of people actually trying to do their fucking jobs.
Free of all kinds of
Regard for human life,
illusions and silly ideas and
that people deserve to live in peace, even if you disagree with them politically as best you can, and that you don't act in a way that would spur more violence towards you unnecessarily. No, I'm sure I'm wrong.
and ivory tower theories.
Ivory tower theories. Dude, your whole office is carved from one tree.
Here's a simple analysis for
Great.
the president.
For simple people, which is, the viewer.
Hamas is a pimp. They never could outfight Israel. What I didn't know until this very day, it was Iran all along. Substitute. It was the Ayatollah all along.
Yeah, well, pick one. I mean, honestly, we're going to have to do some rewrites.
Or it was the
How many views has this one gotten? 5,903. Not his best work. 342 rumbles. I don't know. And it's some of his best acting. I don't know why.
regime of terror all along.
Yes, it was Colonel Mustard in the living room with a monkey wrench who was the Ayatollah.
Ben Hunt goes on to write,
Please tell me this is someone else's bad analogy.
once Vito understood why Philip Tartaglia was coming after him, like he was
So this is not Rudy's common sense. This is some other asshole's common sense we're reading.
just a stooge for Emilio Barzini,
Uh-huh.
everything changed for the Corleone family. You think Biden will have that wisdom? Now recognizing that it's Iran behind this? and everything will change for the United States?
Yeah, that's why they negotiated and why they're putting money in to the Palestinian Authority instead of Hamas, because they vie for control over that area and they feel like they can negotiate a two-state solution with the Palestinian Authority and a possible sane leadership eventually after Netanyahu is either indicted or steps down or somebody else gets elected, and they'll be able to negotiate. Where if you're there is no negotiating with Hamas because they're absolutely a proxy for Iran. So what you do is you negotiate a ceasefire using the Palestinian authorities and then the Israelis, and you push Hamas out, and therefore sidelining the Iranians. And then one of the things you do is you provide the people of the Palestinian areas in Gaza with stuff that they would normally get from Hamas after this kind of circumstance, from international endeavors and the ability of the Americans to come in and help them rebuild, schools and make sure water's clean and all that kind of stuff in coalition with the Israelis, so that they can't undo it later. And we can get pissed because we've got investment in the area if they just strafe bomb our shit again. And so that's how you push Iran to the side. That's why the Egyptians came in. I'm sorry, I'm talking like an adult.
Well, you think maybe Joe Corleone had more insight than Joe Biden? He was a horrible, horrible killer. Doesn't mean he wasn't smart. But what ultimately saved the Corleone family, Hunt goes,
oh my God, this is so fucking boring. There's no way I'm doing this whole thing, Rudy. I had such high hopes. Please tell me that this leads to somehow the Bidens giving them billions of dollars. Let's jump past his first ad, see what he says.
being outmaneuvered, outthought, and outstrategized by your enemy, which now we are.
Are we? Let me see. I just need to check, guys. Hold on. Let's see. I need to check and make sure how badly. Let's see. Oh. That's why you got to do these things live, Rudy. That's why you got to do these things live. All right.
You can't look at the Biden administration's response to this and see in it any kind of competence.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my mistake. Rudy, your idea of competence in this situation is allowing Israel to just murder everyone in that area. That if you could just let it go and finally just wipe the Palestinians out once and for all, that would solve the problem. Because Hamas is a pimp and they could never fight the Israelis. And in that movie, I think they kill the Barzini and the other dude, right? I see. Okay, good.
He didn't seem to know what was going on for 4 days.
He didn't? Because he said we're negotiating behind the scenes and we've got the State Department on it and we're seeking a resolution to the hostilities and all that normal stuff that you hear from a normal president.
He didn't make a statement for 4 days.
Sorry, does the statement affect the outcome?
He hasn't appointed.
I know, Murph. Hi. You guys hear that? What? Did you open the door? Hold on, my cat wants to come in. Oh my God. Murph, what you doing? Where are you? Okay, it's a ghost of a cat. I don't know what's going on. So funny. All right. I'm going mad. There's a ghost of a cat. And I agree, this is boring. This is annoying. I have no more interest in this. This is just garbage. I'm sorry, Rudy. I'm bailing out. You're just not holding my interest.